Right, guys, let's save some history. All right, well, we got a little bit of an issue right here. There's a set screw right here that allows you to oil the spindle where this cone, you know, when you have the back gears in, this cone just spins free on the spindle. And this is how you oil that point. But that thing is frozen in there pretty good. And I started trying to take it out with a screwdriver, and I kind of cammed out just a little bit. But I want to show you a little something on how you can kind of repair something like that, at least a small amount. It's not 100% of a repair, though. Okay, right here is a little bit where it's cammed out and where I kind of caused a little bit of damage right there, that bright spot. The metal's gone now, so that screw slot ain't as good as it used to be. A little bit of goop here, get that out of there. Anyway, so if you raise up a burr, a lot of times stuff like this happens on your vise and stuff. A lot of guys, they'll just take a file and they'll just dress it off of there. But if you actually, you know, if you file it off, that metal's gone. If you just take a ball peen hammer, you can kind of drive it back into position a little bit, and then you won't have a void. And don't get crazy with it now. Actually, it feels pretty good now. All right, yeah. Okay, so the next issue, we need to get that thing out of there. So let me show you the tool we're going to use to try to break it loose. All right, so what we're going to use is called a impact drive. There it is. Now, this doesn't look like the sort of impact drive that most people are used to seeing, but the way it works, when you hit it with a hammer, and find somewhere I don't mind pushing. You hit this thing with a hammer, and that thing will turn. I don't know if you can see it move, but it'll rotate. But the good thing is you're driving down at the same time that it twists. Well, always the trouble with a screwdriver is trying to hold it in tight while you're putting some torque on it to turn it. Well, this accomplishes both in one motion. And it'll tighten and loosen things. And in fact, you can even put a socket on here. Brake socket's loose. Poor man's impact driver, I guess, but I think this is probably precedes the big pneumatic ones you see nowadays. All right, let's give her a whirl. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, this bit actually fits pretty good in here. There's not a lot of play in it, but it will actually sort of seat if I just tap it a little bit. And that is locked in there tight. So that's always a good thing with a screwdriver, you know. You want it to fit the slot really, really well. All right, let's see how this goes. See if it come loose now. Boy, that thing is really tight in there. All right, well, I'm gonna have to oil this up some more. And yeah, it's like a groove right there. It's kind of weird. Wonder what that's about. All right, well, we're gonna keep working on this. Try not to tear it up. There we go. All right. Wonder how long it's been since that thing came out of there, huh? Yeah, some dried grease on the backside here. That's kind of par for the course. Shoot some oil in there. Still not quite sure how to get the cone pulley to disengage from the bull gear here. There's a nut on here, or a bolt. I've got it loose, but I can't figure out how to move it, or maybe it's stuck or something. I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, we'll have to keep playing with that. At least we got that part out. Alright, well, I found something else interesting of note here. This is a bracket that, well, it's a bearing, supports the lead screw here. There's another one at the other end, but if you look, this thing ain't tight, and I didn't loosen it up yet. So I'm not sure what's going on there, why that's been loose. Although somebody did put this, it's like cardboard or something over the lead screw, I guess, trying to keep the screw clean or something like that. Perhaps that's why. Anyway, that's sort of unusual. The other thing here, we've got a little hole here, I think. I don't know if this is an oiling hole or what that is. Or maybe there's a pin, but it doesn't go all the way through. I don't know, I'm not sure what that is. Strange. Alright, well, I don't know. That is what it is. These here are oiling holes. And there's definitely some goop down inside of there. So, I think I'm going to see. Okay, we're going to take these gears here off. See if we can get this bracket to slide off. And we'll get a 2x4 or something to hold this end up. Well, the carriage is right there. I suppose that's probably good enough. Let's see here. That off. I know there's a keyway in here somewhere. There's a key. There's a key. It's a little bit worn. I suppose we replace that. There's a collar on here. I bet there's a taper pin holding this collar onto the shaft here. But I think we may be able to slide this off without having to worry about that. Get my screwdriver. It looks like we can just take these two screws here right out. Well, look at all the junk. You know what? I'm gonna get a piece of wood to put in here just to hold that up. I don't want to leave the weight hanging on this thing. All right, we've got something propping that thing up now. Okay, this should just slide off of here. And it does. Okay. Now, let's see if this lead screw won't slide out of the bearing the other end. Alright, so this is the half nut lever. And that there down is open. That's closed. Alright, so I think I want that open. And this little knob here, it's got a star on the front. This is how you switch between power feed on the cross, cross feed, or longitudinal. So that There, the clutch is turning. I don't know, I should be able to open and close this right here, I would think. Something's a little stuck there. I don't know what I'm gonna have to do to pull this screw out. Seems like it should. What? Turn. Really hard to turn though. Maybe it's seized up a little bit over here in this. Try tapping on the end of it. Well, that's moving. Slowly but surely, that's for sure. Put a little bit more oil inside that hole, huh? Well, it kind of seems like the edge of this thing here is a little bit mushroomed, perhaps. So I'm going to try and dress it just to knock any burrs off where I drag it through that bearing. And see, there's a little something right there. Somebody's been beating on it with something not soft. And then we'll shine it up with a little bit of paper here. This is a Babbitt bearing too, so that's always good, because that means if we have to, we can always rebuild that. That's considerably easier than trying to find insert bearings that are obsolete. This is something a guy can do in the shop. Keith Rucker's got a couple of videos of him doing that. Well worth watching. Alright. Got all the big spots off. Let's shine it up some. Come here. Roll that around some. And still a little staining over here. A bit of a groove right there, sort of, I guess, kind of. Whew. Mighty snug. Mighty snug. Oh. Well, it seems like it's coming. Yep. Oh, it's almost halfway through. We should be able to get it out. There we are, home free. Go and pull her all the way through the apron. That's one more piece off. That's comforting because sure don't want to damage this. Alright, these screws have really been abused holding this bearing on, but boy. Let's see if we can't clean that up some. These are coming out. A little oil in there. Probably help. I think these are have to be replaced. Them are pretty ugly. And that's what happens to the head when you don't take it out the right way. What's that Tom Lipton noise says? Chowder? This one must have come out of New England. All ready? One more piece off. That screw. Well, if you guys like old equipment and seeing how to get it fixed up, why don't you click on the subscribe icon over here, picture of the old horizontal mill, and check out these other videos that are coming up here in a second. And we'll see you around.